Hey, Nelson, alcoholic addict. That's not my real name. That is my pen name that I use here for my newsletter. I stumbled upon something the other day that I had never heard before, despite being sober since 2008. In the famous section of 12-step programs known as the promises, we all know the promises, right? We all love the promises. There are apparently 12 promises. Did you know this? 12 of them. I'm not sure if the founders intended for that, but my guess is probably it's just a beautiful coincidence, the 12 steps and 12 promises, and it's just, either way, I found it cool. And it gave me a chance to look at them and break them out individually and examine how true have these promises been for me. I say out loud, like, yep, they've come true for me, but I never took them one at a time and deeply contemplated them individually as well as sort of as a big package. And I did it, and it was a pretty fun exercise. So maybe listen and tally up your own results as I go through them. It was a fun exercise. All right, promise number 1. If we are painstaking about this phase of our development, we will be amazed before we are halfway through. I found that to be incredibly, so true. I got done with my first step, and I already had begun to feel an incredible sense of acceptance about who I am and what I want to be. Felt like the biggest mystery of my whole life had been solved. I had gotten familiar with the problem, but also the solution. And so halfway through, I did feel like I was amazed. Promise number 2, we are going to know a new freedom and a new happiness. Another one that really, it absolutely came true for me. I never felt so free and happy as I have since I got sober. At the beginning, in the middle, and at the end, right now, I feel like I know a new freedom and a new happiness. The third promise, out of 12, we will not regret the past nor wish to shut the door on it. This one is very interesting. It's mostly true for me, but it's a slippery one to get my arms around some days. It's pretty easy to swing too far the other way and try to forget, minimize the pain that I caused. Put it in the rearview mirror and leave it there. Like, think about the last thing you did, even in sobriety, that you were truly apologetic about. Like, did you not regret it, but also not shut the door on it at the exact proper amounts? I don't know, man. If so, if you did, good for you. I have found it's hard to land right where you have remorse and acceptance at the same time. It's tricky. So I'll give myself, let's say 75%, 75% grade on this promise. All right, the fourth promise, we will comprehend the word serenity and we will know peace. Well, this is an interesting one. I certainly comprehend the word serenity, and I know peace. Do I practice them? It depends on the day. Actually, it depends on the hour. Check back with me in an hour. I'll probably be different. This is one of those recovery things that I think about and I understand and I talk about all the time. And I love both of those things, serenity and peace. And yet, it's just not easy. It really isn't. I'm going to give myself, let's say, another 75% on this one, a C. Let's go C. All right, fifth promise, no matter how far down the scale we have gone, we will see how our experience can benefit others. I love this one. I find it to be totally true. I do think my experience can benefit others. I've seen it. And it's perhaps the most valuable promise because, investing your experience, strength, and hope in others is just like, I get so much return on investment from it. And it takes no money or not a lot of energy. You just put yourself out there. It's a beautiful thing. So yes, I'm going to say A+ on that one. All right, the sixth promise. It's that feeling of uselessness and self-pity will disappear. I've absolutely found that this promise came true. And then it became not true. And then it was true again. Of all the promises, this might be the one that is the most fleeting. It's like catching smoke in your hands. It's just like those feelings, they disappear. And then they come back. And then they disappear again. It just comes and goes and comes and goes. It's a tough one. I'm still going to say that has come true for me. Like the real deep uselessness and self-pity. The idea that I have no worth whatsoever. I don't feel that anymore. And so that's so valuable. So I'm going to say that promise did come true. Seventh promise, we will lose interest in selfish things and gain interest in our fellows. Well, I'm gonna give myself like a D plus here. 66%, let's say that. 2/3. I've gained a lot of interest in my fellows, for sure. But I've only lost some interest in selfish things. Not all interest in selfish things. I still think about myself, what I want, what I need on an hourly basis. So let's go D plus there. Promise number 8, self-seeking will slip away. Yeah, sure. It slips away and then I pick it right up again off the ground after I drop it. I drop it again and I pick it up again over and over again. So I'm still going to say that this has come true because I do think about others more than I ever have in my whole life. And the interesting thing is, as recovery has gone on, this promise has become more and more true. You know, when I had 50 days sober, some self-seeking had slipped away. When I had 500 days sober, more self-seeking had slipped away, and so on up till now. So definitely has come true. 9th promise is our whole attitude and outlook upon life will change. This is probably going to sound contradictory to some of the things I already said earlier, but on a big picture scale, like my whole attitude and outlook have changed. My whole worldview. There are still remnants of some shitty stuff that sneaks back into the picture, but I haven't lost focus on the grand scheme of things, what really matters since 2008. So I'm going to say that one came true. All right, the 10th promise. Fear of people and of economic insecurity will leave us. Oh, man. Yeah, I think I'm gonna give myself like a B minus. Let's say 80% true on this one. It's gotten much better. But I'd say I still feel those things. Fear of people, fear of economic insecurity will leave us. I mean, I feel some of that almost every day about something. It's just the one big difference. The reason I'm giving myself an 80% is it's not debilitating anymore. I'm not hiding under my mattress, you know. I know it'll be okay. All right, the 11th promise is we will intuitively know how to handle situations which used to baffle us. Yeah, I can definitely see this. I definitely have watched as my instincts get better and better and better. They still are terrible. My first thought is usually bad. I still think about that Seinfeld episode about George Costanza where he tries the opposite of his first thought of what he should do every day, and it works out really well. I definitely have had some moments like that where I'm just like, okay, this is my gut reaction. Oh, I got to ignore my gut a little bit, or at least have a second thought before I make a decision. So I'm going to say this came true. I do know how to handle situations which used to baffle me because I use you guys, man. I reach out to people and get help. You know, it's a lot easier to make decisions when you have like sort of a board of advisors of sober people. All right, 12th promise, last one. We will suddenly realize that God is doing for us what we could not do for ourselves. I'm spotty on this one. I definitely realize that relying upon a higher power is better for me than being a higher power. I'm not a higher power. Do I actually do that every day? Do I actually behave like I can't control the world? Nah, not even close. I'm gonna give myself let's say A minus, 90% true, because I definitely think it has come true. That promise is a real thing. So that is the 12 promises. And the end of the promises, as we have heard at so many meetings, is the couple sentences. Are these extravagant promises? We think not. They are being fulfilled among us, sometimes quickly, sometimes slowly. They will always materialize if we work for them. That last line is crucial. I 100% believe all of it, and I've seen it. They materialize if I work for them. I believe in the 12 promises. I've seen all 12 come true. I've also apparently seen about 1.63 promises become untrue, though, based on my math. Going back through all the grades I just gave myself, I got a 10.37 out of 12. 10.3 promises out of 12 promises, that's about 86%. So 86% I've been a solid B student my whole life. I always try for A's, but I end up with about an 86%. So it seems fitting. Thanks for letting me share.